It's reading the map in a crash report and building a bridge where there was no port.
Welcome to The Explainer. So, you ever wonder what actually happens after your credit card details get stolen? Well, today, we're going to go right inside the mind of a criminal. We've managed to get our hands on a leaked lecture that was made for aspiring fraudsters, and we're going to use it to break down exactly how these really sophisticated schemes are built, literally from the ground up.
You know, when you buy something online, it feels like a straight line. You see it, you like it, you buy it. Simple. But a fraudulent order, that's a whole different beast. It's not just a transaction, it's a full-on performance. It's this meticulous, multi-step operation designed to fool these incredibly complex security systems that are watching every move. Systems you and I never even realize are there.
And our source material puts it perfectly. It says carding isn't much different from ordering a pizza. Everything changes with masking. You see, the real game isn't just about placing the order. It's about defeating all those invisible systems that are watching every single click. The secret, as they say, is all in the disguise.
So here's what we're going to do. We'll break down their playbook into 3 core pillars: the material, the mask, and the performance. And then we'll get into how they try to defeat the digital guards and what this all means for this constant back-and-forth battle between the criminals and the security folks.
All right, let's dive right in. According to our source, this whole criminal enterprise really rests on 3 main pillars. A successful hit isn't about some single magic trick. Nope, it's about perfectly executing 3 totally separate phases. You've got to have the right raw materials, you have to create a believable digital disguise, and then you have to perform just like a real customer would.
First up, Pillar 1. Criminals need what they call the material. And as you're about to see, this is way more than just a stolen credit card number. This is the absolute foundation of the entire fraud attempt.
So what exactly is this material? Well, it's the whole package: the card number, the expiration date, the CVV code, and, this is crucial, all the personal info that goes with it. We're talking name, billing address, the whole shebang. But here's the key takeaway from this lecture. Just having this data, it's nowhere near enough to guarantee a successful score.
Yeah, see, not all stolen data is created equal. Fraudsters, believe it or not, are incredibly discerning. They're asking a ton of questions. Is the card still active? Does a platinum card hint at a higher credit limit? Does it need that extra password thing, what they call VBV, or verified by Visa? They're even thinking about how quickly the real owner is going to report it. And is the card's bank already on some high-risk list? They know that just trying the card everywhere like a jackhammer will get it flagged and shut down in minutes.
Okay, let's move on to the second pillar, and you'll see how this all starts to stack up. Once they have good material, it's all about creating what they call a digital mask. Think of this as the high-tech camouflage they use to hide who they really are and where they're really located.
The goal of masking is, simple in theory, but super complex in practice. You have to make the criminal's computer, their web browser, and their network location look absolutely identical to the real cardholders. It's all about building a digital doppelganger that won't set off any alarms.
Now, this is where it gets really clever. This whole thing is a 3-step process for crafting that disguise. First, they'll use a proxy or a VPN to get an IP address that matches the victim's zip code. Second, they create a clean digital fingerprint for their computer so it doesn't look like a known fraudster's machine. And third, and this part is just wild, they actually warm up their digital profile before they even think about visiting the store they want to hit.
This warm-up is just fascinating. They basically pretend to be a totally average internet user, or as the source hilariously calls it, a hamster user, just kind of running on the wheel of the internet. They'll browse some news sites, check out social media, maybe click on a few ads. And what's the goal? To collect a whole bunch of cookies from tracking and advertising companies. That makes them look like a real active consumer to any security system that might be watching them.
So, with the material secured and the mask firmly in place, we get to the final pillar, the performance. This is all about what they do once they're actually on the target store's website. They have to act like a completely normal person. And believe me, that's a lot harder than it sounds.
The source uses this perfect analogy. You know that feeling when someone tells you to act normal and suddenly you become all stiff and awkward? Well, anti-fraud systems are designed to spot exactly that kind of nervous robot behavior. It's a huge red flag that something is off.
And this illustrates it perfectly. These systems are trained to spot these really subtle behaviors. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you copied and pasted your own name into a form? Probably never. Real customers browse around, they compare things, and then they make a single confident purchase.
Fraudsters, they often rush, they copy-paste data, they might try multiple cards, all of which are massive giveaways. Okay, so they've got the material, they've got the mask, and they've got their performance down pat. They are ready for the final act. But there's one last hurdle: the digital security guards. These are the automated systems just waiting to stop them right at the checkout.
One of the biggest and most common of these guards is something called the Address Verification System, or AVS. It's a pretty simple but really effective check. It just asks, does the billing address the customer entered match the address the bank has on file for that card? If there's a mismatch, that's a classic sign of fraud.
But of course, criminals have a whole toolkit of workarounds for AVS. They might go after stores that don't use it, or they'll buy digital goods that don't need a shipping address. A really sophisticated trick is to ship the item to the real address to pass the check, and then try to intercept or reroute the package while it's in transit. It's a constant chess snatch.
And get this, here's something you probably didn't know. A failed transaction isn't just a no. For the fraudster, every failure is a lesson. An instant decline might tell them the card is dead. A cancel that comes later could mean their performance wasn't convincing. A verification request tells them their mask isn't quite right. Every outcome is a clue, helping them fine-tune their strategy for the next attack.
So all of this brings us to the bigger picture. This isn't some static set of rules. What we're looking at is a constant, evolving digital arms race. On one side, you have the security professionals building the defenses, and on the other, you have digital criminals who spend all their time trying to tear them down.
And as the lecture itself concludes, it's pretty clear this is not a game you just learn once and then you've mastered it. It's a feedback loop. Security experts learn from fraud attempts, and fraudsters learn from new security measures. What works for a criminal today is going to be blocked tomorrow. And that new security feature, it'll probably have a workaround discovered by next week.
Which leaves us with a really critical question. In this invisible war, fought with data and algorithms, as the tech on both sides gets more and more sophisticated, who's actually winning? The builders or the breakers? And honestly, the answer is far from clear.
I ride it, I wire it, I ship it when it's tight. Stitching broken systems through the middle of the night. Let the bill fall down, let the pipeline scream. I'll drag it back to stable, brick by scheme. From chaos into order, from bugging to release. From it won't even start to something that brings peace. No spotlight on the hands that keep it all alive. But I'm the pulse behind the screen, and that's how things survive. No, that's how things survive. And that's how things survive. Curse of fate to sunrise loads. Quiet victory in the code. No parade, no final word. Just system steady as promised is heard.